Hello friends, my name is Tanay Singh Thakur. You're welcome back to the Telecom Talk Show. We recently hosted Mr. Abhijit Kishore, Chief Operating Officer at Vodafone Idea Limited, the third largest telecom operator in the country, at our podcast show, Telecom Talk Show. So we talked about a lot of things such as what the company is doing to implement innovative processes to solve customer issues. Then what are the company's plans for the future with 5G and other things such as mobile apps and more. So before you head into this conversation, I just want to tell you a small fact that even I was unaware of. So this is something that actually all of us should know, and Abhijit told me that when the company rebranded itself into VI, it's actually not VI, it's V. It's pronounced as V. So this is it. I won't take any more of your time. Please enjoy the conversation ahead.
First of all, thank you, Tarun and Tanay, for inviting me in this session, which I'm assuming is going to be pretty engaging, as I've figured out from what Anjali was telling me about two of you and the detailing that you get into. Let me give you a little perspective about what Vodafone Idea has been doing in the last 2 years, during the pandemic. And I think it's important for us as an organization and us as we as a brand to put that in perspective, because 2 years have been pretty much of a roller coaster ride for us, right from the internal to the external environment. And there are a couple of things that we were doing at the background, in the last 2 years. And starting with, I'll start with the most important and the mother of all the integration was on the network integration. It definitely was the largest telecom network integration that the world would have seen. We had to literally move the radio core, transport, all of that. And I think, we're very, very happy to share that what we thought originally will take us at least 24 to 30 months, we've been pretty much in position to complete that in 18 to 20 months with a significant amount of saving, which we have announced of 8,400 odd crores, which we thought that, this integration will bring. And integration, when I say it is not only about the network integration, it is also about two of the organizations, the processes, the IT systems, all of that kind of coming together. And that was a pretty mammoth task for us. And obviously this was all happening during the pandemic. And if that was not all, around September 2020, we also thought of launching our new brand, because when we had merged the organization, we had kept Vodafone and Idea as two separate brands, and we launched our new brand, V. And launching of a brand in itself is an exercise, and that too during a pandemic, when everything was digital, was I'll say a very, very enriching experience for all of us. And I think we did a fairly good job out of it by making sure that our brand is visible across. Our brand stands for a particular reason, which is together for tomorrow, and help our customers thrive. And connected with that, when we launched the brand, one of the reasons why we wanted to launch the brand with a brand promise, and there's no reason for us not to kind of go then and have a new brand when we merged the organization. The reason why we did that was to make sure that we have something to offer to our customers. And how do you really differentiate our brand from the earlier two of our own parent brand or in the competition? And I think one of the very critical element, along with the network, the customer experience, the distribution spread that we had, was the differentiating factor on the digital initiatives and the digital vision that we had for the organization. And we were very clear that we wanted to give to our customers what they want, rather than just providing all the bouquet of services on a digital platform. And hence we were very, very careful about choosing our partners, because when we also did a digital as a vision, we were very clear that we do not want to get into making our own platform. Rather, we will get into a curated offering with a deep integration with the partnership, because we very, very clearly understand this domain, and we don't think that we are really an expert in the domain of providing content, whether it is on the OTT or any other form of the content. And hence, we were very careful about making sure that we have a meaningful partnership as far as our digital, properties and digital assets are concerned. And we've traveled a fair bit of distance, keeping the customer's experience and relevance in mind. And also, during all of this, I think we were very conscious of the fact that we make sure that we have our employees with us, because we had gone through a little bit of a kind of a roller coaster, as I said, and hence we also focused greatly again through digital interventions to make sure that our employees are aware of what we are doing and what is in store for us and store for the customer. So I think that's pretty much what we have been doing in the last 2 years. All of this in 5 minutes looks, 5 bullet point, but as you would understand, some of these things really take a lot of time, because we had a particular architecture, and to fit all of this into that was a task. So that's where we are in the last 2 years, and now we are absolutely raring to go to make sure that whatever we have put for our customers, the customers use it, give us the feedback, and then we kind of improve upon some of those assets and properties that we have created.
Tarun, you want to go ahead and ask something?
Abhijit, sir, I have my first question to you. Can you please elaborate on the innovative systems and processing that VI is adapting right now to make the customer life easy, especially in the digital intervention, what you were actually talking about?
Yeah. I think let me start by saying that our mission, as I said, is to have simple, relevant, and delightful experience for our customers using meaningful technologies. And pandemic obviously has accentuated the digital adoption spread as well as depth. And hence, as a service provider, for us, it was very, very important to stay ahead of the curve as far as the digital transformation journey was concerned. We were also mindful of the fact that in all the system and processes that we put in use has 4 S as an element, which is scalable, secure, sustainable, and something that has a speed of rollout. And obviously all of this at the back of a digital asset that we had created. I'll try and answer your question in 3 parts, because there are 3 very important constituents of our business. One obviously is the customer. Second, as I said, is our employee. And third, what we call is an extended experience, or our channel partner. And I'll talk about all of them in a manner, because these are all very important for us. To start with the customers, we have used the digital interventions using the artificial intelligence, machine learning, natural language processing, RPA. So all of these technologies have been put to use. And I'll specifically talk of 3 things that we think are very, very different, industry first. First is the what we call WIC chatbot. This is an AI/ML based cognitive chatbot, which can be accessed by any platform that our customers are using to reach out to us, whether it is WhatsApp, Google, or our own V app. It can answer both very, very simple queries such as balance and postpaid bill and outstanding amount, as well as the complex queries such as updating the accounts, how do you make the plan changes, and this WIC chatbot also is supported by a live agent, so that if there is an escalation, we are able to resolve the customer's query right there and then. The second one is obviously our own V app, which we have further strengthened on both making the UI UX of our app very, very customer friendly, very intuitive, and making sure that we enhance the self-service capability on all the fronts that our V app caters to our customer. It has also become a go-to place for our customers because now, as you would have seen, we have integrated our the music, gaming, education, job, as well as movies and TVs. And obviously, all of this is through a curated services through our deep integration model. And the third one is again powered by artificial intelligence, which is our email bot, because we get a lot of customers who chat up with us on the email, and we've made sure that AI-powered email bot is integrated with various internal systems to generate accurate responses at a much faster speed. So these are for the customers that I would want to talk, and for the employees, I think it's very important that because most of our customer conversation, one is happening through a digital mode, and second is happening through an assisted mode. And we needed to also, while the whole transition is happening from an assisted to a digital, there's still a lot of customers who are there on the assisted mode. For them to kind of get an experience which is similar to a digital experience, we have also enabled our employees by doing something which is more a digitized knowledge management tool, which works very similar to a Google search, which is a search engine optimization. And you can get to know of things that our customers are asking so that you are able to give the right information in the first time. We also empower our employees in the sales and distribution fraternity by having a digital app which is called Empower, which really helps them to get all details real time, site-wise, so that they are able to take right decisions. And since we also deal with customer data, which is at various levels, all of this needs to be extremely secure. And hence, all of these have been integrated with a lot of security in mind, with roughly around 150 plus IT systems at the back end. And the third is a partner fraternity. I'm sure you know that we deal with close to 1 million partners and distribution partners in the country, who in turn extend the service and support and experience to our customers. And hence it was important to ensure that we engage with them also during the pandemic and going forward digitally, because the world is moving, the digital transactions are moving phenomenally high. And hence we've made sure that we have also enabled them digitally. And I'll want to only mention two, while we've done multiple things, which really is helping both the retail partners as well as the customer. And the first one of that, what we call auto C2C, it's basically auto channel to channel, which means, if you recollect a couple of years back, you used to go for a prepaid recharge from a consumer point of view. The retailer used to have the balance. Sometimes the balance is there, not there. Now it is all in an automated fashion, and there is an UPI as well. So the whole human intervention of somebody coming and giving a top up for the retailer to recharge our customers, and hence providing a particular kind of an experience, is 100% now digitized. So I think these are some of the interventions in those three buckets of customers, employee, and partner that we have been able to do.
So Abhijit, first of all,
sorry, Thane, even we happened to try the chatbot thing. It was really class apart when compared to the competitors. Even we did some trial, even customers were so happy compared to the competitors, like the chatbot we were talking about. So yeah, that's something VI has done it pretty amazing thing right now. So even it's just hardly few click of a thing. Even they are able to know all the details and things and all. So that's something amazing. So
yes, absolutely. And we are getting a lot of encouraging feedback from the customers. And obviously, see, these are all journeys that we have all taken in the last couple of quarters. And we'll obviously keep learning as per the feedback. So we are very, very open to customers' feedback on telling us that, how would they really want us to help them in some of these digital assets that I spoke of.
So Abhijit, just talking about Vic chatbot, okay. What are the customers really telling you? How has the response been so far? if you had to break it down in terms of numbers, is there any sort of improvement, like there are less number of calls for a certain issue? Are the problems of customers being resolved at the base level through these features and products?
Yeah, absolutely, Tana. I think, and one of the reasons, obviously, one is a customer experience part of it, and second is that how do we really bring the efficiency, in all of this that we are doing. So let me give you a little bit of a number so that it sets the whole perspective. See, our digital interface today handles roughly around 34 to 35% of our service requests that comes on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And we are able to handle 86% of those which comes to us without any human intervention, which means that it is completely digital and there's no human intervention at all on those 86%. And we also measure the success and the feedback of the customer, and 92% of the customers, rate us very high as far as the first time, right, what we call FTR. So that's one data point for you. The second one was what you was asking about the big chatbot. So the big chatbot today handles around 90% of our customers' query with complete closure. So that's again very, very significant. And customers are also preferring to kind of do everything themselves at the time they would want to reach out to us rather than calling the call center. And our assisted channel, which is typically a call center channel or an email channel, we have seen over the last couple of quarters a reduction of almost 32% of the calls which were coming on the call center. And today we have more than 120 million digital interactions every month that we do in the VIL system. So I think these are some of the large, while these are obviously, as I said, we just started the journey, but these are some very good indicative numbers, which really encourages us to put our might behind all these digital, assets that we have created.
So Abhijit, they do sure sound like really healthy numbers for you. And I know that you guys must be encouraged to do more, right? So Abhijit, all of us went through a pretty hard time as a society or as a country or as a world in whole. The pandemic, it wasn't easy on all of us, but thank you for keeping us connected. I'm a Vodafone Idea customer myself. So, my next question is, post the lockdown period, now the markets have finally opened up, and fortunately they have. So what is sort of a new trend or uptake have you seen in terms of customer engagement?
No, I mean, Tana, you're absolutely right. I think there's no denial to the fact that telecom as an industry was the lifeline during the pandemic. And not only about keeping the network infrastructure up and running during those tiring times, also to ensure that we are in touch with our customers, we are learning along the way, we are providing the information to the customer needs, because during the pandemic, obviously the requirement and the need from a customer's point of view on an information seeking was very, very different. And we had to keep, and obviously, all of this came all of a sudden. So we had to keep pace and be a step ahead in providing what our customers were expecting us to do. And that's what we've just kind of seen what are the things that we have done. I think we have also seen a very, very significant shift on a couple of things. I'm sure this would have also happened across the industry, is on the digital payment, the digital recharges, the kind of digital solutions that the customers are now looking at, whether it is in the consumer space or in the enterprise space. The digital interaction that I just gave you the numbers, which are really, really significant number. The digital content consumption, the OTT consumption. Also, we see a shift in a peak hour. So, typically, in the telecom world, the peak hour used to be in the evening hours. During the pandemic, we also saw some of that getting shifted because obviously people were working from home. Some of the consumer behavior that we have seen changing is one person in the family doing a recharge for everybody else, where there were multiple recharges happening. The retailers wanting to adopt to the whole digital ecosystem of, whether it is auto channel or UPI payment. I think so some of these are are very significant. My sense is that all of this would have happened, but this pandemic has really, really pushed the envelope in that sense. And some of this, now that the post-lockdown that we see has become a way of life, which is very heartening to see, which probably would have taken a more time, I think has got shortened to my mind. So I think that's what I would say, that, during pandemic and post-pandemic, those are kind of some of the things that we see the customers and the customers' behavior or the usage really changing.
So Abhijit, Vodafone Idea is pretty active in terms of doing new partnerships, launching new products, features. So, that sort of creates a expectation in the minds of customers, investors, what is next for the company. So Abhijit, this is my next question for you. What is next in the pipeline for Vodafone Idea? What sort of things can we expect from the company?
I think, we are always looking for something new. And we, as an organization, from a customer experience point of view, are always on a lookout what really makes sense, rather than bombarding with things that we want to give it to our customer. And hence, we are very careful and mindful in choosing what we'll do. And as I started by saying, that we have a principle of what can be really scalable, what can be sustainable. We don't want to do something that we do today and is not sustained, and something that we can really get to the customers fast. So keeping that, I think there are multiple things that is there in the pipeline. But before I get there, I think very important is also, as I said, we are very early in the curve. Our digital adoption, I said 35%, is still 65% of the guys who need to get there. So I think one of the tasks which is very clearly cut out for us is to ensure that how are we able to communicate and educate our customers to use more and more of digital assets, which is actually very, very helpful at their time to get the information or queries or resolutions, as the case may be. What is new? I'd like to talk about two things. There are multiple that we are working on, and some of them, when the right time comes, we'll talk about it. But two of them that I can clearly talk about again is what we're launching now in a couple of weeks, is what is called Winnie, which is basically a natural language processing based humanoid or a voice conversation bot, as you would say, which is text to speech and speech to text. We are already using them as a pilot in roughly around 13 circles that we have, and using some of the processes that is relevant for that. And the good feature and the capability that this bot has is what we call smart intercept, which really stops when a customer starts speaking or asking some questions. So it's a very, very highly interactive voice bot that we are very, very excited to get to our customers. So that's one which is going to come. And the second one, is a journey that we have traveled over the last couple of years on the way we onboard our customers. And the new thing that we are going to do is what is called a self KYC. So we started with digital know your customer for an acquisition. Then it has moved to a biometric, where you just go and put an Aadhaar-based biometric. Now that's moving to a self KYC, where customers sitting at their home offices, wherever, just by an OTP can get themselves activated, and we'll courier the SIM card to their home address or office address, as the case may be. And this is 100% secure. So I think these are some of the very defining digital assets and digital journeys that we are create. And some of the thing that I'm talking is actually the need of the hour, because everybody wants their own time and get the things done at their own place. So these are some of the things that is there in the pipeline that I can talk of right now.
Okay, Abhijit. So the narrative today is, the corporates as well as other companies, small business, whatever there is, you need to be conscious about the nature, right? Whenever you're working. So going green is something Vodafone Idea is also doing, I believe. And, one of the ways to do that is to go paperless. and we live in a digital era, right? And we are shifting towards more digital things. So there will be a day when we go paperless completely. But my question is it anytime soon? And when it happens, will it result in any sort of reduction in fraudulent activations and all?
No, so there are two parts to the question. Obviously, it's extremely important. We are very conscious of the environment, and the sustainability is very, very high on our agenda on anything that we do. And the answer to your question is absolutely yes. We are already on that journey, and as I just said, we are moving towards a self KYC. See, if you take a span of a 2.5, 3 years, if you wanted a new activation, whether it was a postpaid or a prepaid activation, people had to fill a form. Okay, we did away with that 2 years, 3 years back when we went into what we call a digital KYC. That has now moved. So paperless journey actually first started there. It is a different shapes and forms. Now we are on a eKYC, which is more biometric. And I'm very happy to share that in our prepaid activations and onboarding that we do today, and we do millions of activations in a month, we are already at 72-73% of our activations that we do, which is absolutely paperless. And 100%, or I would say 97-98% of our activations on a postpaid is paperless. So absolutely, we're keeping environment, at the center of when we are looking at some of these changes. And also, it's the fraudulent part of the question that you said. See, we've always been very conscious about the way the DOT and DRAI is kind of put the guideline, as well as our endeavor to ensure that we do the right things, and hence some of these Aadhaar-based and digitized way of acquiring customer, is going to absolutely restrict some of the antisocial elements, who probably would get SIM cards. So I think the answer to your question on both front is yes, yes, paperless is the way forward. Whether it's going to take another couple of quarters to move from a 72 to a 90, 95 or 98, but absolutely on the journey.
So Abhijit, thanks to Vodafone Idea, me and Tarun could enjoy some of the use cases demonstrated in Pune last year, right? And we got to see a lot of range of use cases, right? I personally experienced a few as well, remote learning, and such as seeing a site live, which was a few kilometers away through a AR glass. So those are pretty cool, right? On a personal level, what excites you the most? Which 5G use case excites you the most?
No, I think thanks to both of you for kind of being there in Pune to really experience the capabilities that Vodafone Idea Limited demonstrated in front of the media, in front of some of the government officials as well in last November, and that obviously gives us huge amount of confidence. I think we obviously demonstrated, as you said, more than a dozen use cases there, and it varied from smart city to connected health, to drone technologies, to a surveillance, immersive gaming, sports training, and loads of it. And while some of them were developed to address the large-scale challenges of our country, which is, say, education, healthcare, security, etc. Others were directed towards more of the Industry 4.0. For enabling them to have a better efficiency. And then the third category which was typically the entertainment, gaming, all of that. And obviously each of them are going to address their specific segment. So it's very difficult to kind of pick any favorite, but I think to my mind, the remote health monitoring as well as the digital twin technology use cases that you guys saw there is pretty interesting, and the 5G smart and connected health that we demonstrated there showcases how do you really utilize the golden time to commence the diagnostic get the expert advice, views, infrastructure ready at the hospital when somebody is not well, and how can a technology really enable the paramedic in the ambulance to really have a video connect, real time, and make sure that right, right vital statistics that's kind of shared, which is to the doctors, and how do you really take care of that part of the instructions from the doctor. I think so that whole journey is very I think is very meaningful to my mind. And the second obviously is the digital twin part of it, where probably you are referring to that, where so we demonstrated something which was in the in the tunnel, and we created a digital twin sitting in the hotel where we had the license in the trial part of it, and we made sure that people sitting in the hotel has exactly the same view of what's there happening on the site. And how do you, so this can also be used for capability building within an organization, as well as really helping the guys in the field to take care of some of the real challenges why the expert might be sitting in the center managing them. So I think all of these use cases are pretty fascinating. We need to really see, what is the scale that we can build for some of these use cases.
So Abhijit, we has been, launching and partnering with a lot of other companies such as Nazara Technologies for VI games, and then there was Hangama for the music, and then there's also this new thing called Jobs and Education. All of these have been integrated into the VI app, right? And then there's also VI Movies and TV, which is we owned OTT platform, right? So all of these into one place, right? What has been sort of the customer reaction to this? Have you seen any sort of increase in engagement?
You're absolutely right. Tanay. I started by saying digital and partnership are two of the very important in our growth strategy. That we always been talking about, and we continue to focus on our platform capabilities to offer deeper, curated experience with our partners and we call it a little differential experience, and you can, when you are really looking at our, say for example, a V Music versus what you see on a Hangama as a music, and it's a curated differential experience that we have done, and then obviously we will keep investing on this. These offerings are also in line with the customer's demand. And as I said, it's not that we are just pushing what we think is important, but we do a lot of research to find out what is really relevant for the customer. And our strategy has always been to be the best in class across all segments that we focus on. Our recent partnership with Hangama for V Music, or Nazara for the V Gaming, and then similarly for the jobs, upskilling, education has absolutely been received very, very well by our customers. And obviously, while V Music, we have spoken about it, we have taken it to the market. V Gaming is something that we are wanting our customers to kind of adopt themselves, and we've really not taken a digital or a ATL kind of a campaign around that. But what is encouraging is really to see is the kind of adoption. I obviously can't share the numbers with you at this point in time, but we are very, very happy at the number that we see. It has also done two things to us, which is very important. It has reduced the uninstall rate of the app, which is how typically one sees the app adoption, and also it has increased the time spent by our customers on the app. And you're right, we've kind of integrated all of this onto our V app just to ensure that the whole experience is very, very seamless, and we continue to provide more services for our customers to thrive, which is our brand philosophy.
So Abhijit, just an extension to this question, all of these things coming to a one app, right? V app, is V app becoming a super app? Is it safe to assume that, because it is sort of a one-stop solution, right? Whatever you want, you can get it in one app. Will we see some other things as well in the future coming to the app?
Yeah, I mean, we believe we are building a very robust digital ecosystem, digital platform for our customers, which will allow them to access the content what they want at their convenience in one place under the V app. Personally, I'll refrain calling it by any name, whether it is a super app or anything else. I think our philosophy has been very, very clear to provide the best-in-class service with a curated as well as differential experience on what we do. And we really mean what we are saying when we say differentiated and curated experience. So it's just not putting another app and integrating it in our V app. We really put a lot of heart and soul in making sure that the whole experience is very, very different from what the original probably the app will be. So that's the whole endeavor. And we are also very conscious about the fact, as I said, that what is that we are really bringing to our customers, and is that really adding value to them? And spoken English or pariksha that we are doing, some of these are something that is really required by a customer. And I think that is the whole beauty of the uptake that we see in some of these adoption that we are seeing. So I think I'll not really want to get into a nomenclature of calling it a super app or not. But yeah, it's a destination from our point of view, which is for a curated experience.
Okay, this will be all from my side, Abhijit, and Tarun's as well. So thank you for giving us your valuable time. We really appreciate it, and we hope for one such conversation in the near future as well. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in to listen to this conversation. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please go check out our podcast platforms. They are linked in the description below. And if you're on one of our podcast platforms, please go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
Thanks, Tarun, and thanks, Tanay, for having me here.